Hey boys and girls, it's Miss Nevius again. Okay, we're on Friday and this is our final day of working on main idea and multi-paragraphs, which is really exciting. Next week we're going to dive into some reference materials, and those are things like dictionaries, thesauruses. Okay, so we're going to get to dive into some new stuff next week. Alright, you can tell that I have up a Brain Pop video. Decided to switch it up for you again today. And we're going to go ahead and watch this Brain Pop video over main idea. What I really want to pay attention to again is how the details help support the main idea, and that it doesn't need to be just one paragraph. We can find a main idea. They're even going to go into, on this video, how you can find the main idea of a whole book. Okay? So, I mean, everything has a reason. Authors don't just write just because they feel like writing. They write for a reason. And a lot of times it's to share information with you. And that would be the main idea. It's what they really want you to know. So let's go ahead and let's watch this, and then we'll head on over to Class Kick to answer a few questions.
You wrote a paragraph? Roller coasters move in different ways. They can loop upside down. Some twist and turn on the tracks. Others rise high in the sky and then drop suddenly. No matter how roller coasters move, I love feeling the wind through my hair. Moby, you don't have any hair. But this is an awesome paragraph. Your main idea comes through loud and clear. What is a main idea? The main idea is the point of a piece of writing. It can be a big idea the writer wants to get across. The main idea of your paragraph is that roller coasters move in different ways. The topic sentence tells the main idea and lets you know what the rest of the paragraph will be about. Let's see. Your topic sentence is roller coasters move in different ways. But there are other sentences here that help explain the main idea. Why are supporting details important? I know that a detail is a piece of information, and when you support something, you hold it up. Your paragraph has 3 supporting details that describe how roller coasters move. Roller coasters can loop upside down. Some twist and turn on the tracks. Others rise high in the sky and then drop suddenly. It's easy to find the main idea in one paragraph, but books can have a lot of paragraphs. How do you find the main idea in a non-fiction book? I know that a book can have one big main idea, and each chapter has a main idea that supports the big idea of the book. And those chapters have paragraphs with main ideas that support the chapter. I think the main idea of this whole book is that making roller coasters takes a lot of science and planning, and there are a lot of details to support that. But that's non-fiction. So, how do you find the main idea in a story? This is a great story. The main idea? Not sure. But I can find out by looking for clues in the story. In the story, a girl goes on her first roller coaster. She has butterflies in her stomach and wishes she had never gotten in line. But her big sister promises to hold her tightly. And she winds up having a lot of fun and doesn't even need to hold her big sister's hand. I can look at the supporting details to figure out the main idea. The girl was nervous, wanted to leave, and her sister helped her. Right, Moby. The main idea is the girl gets over her fear with a little help. I bet she loved feeling the wind through her hair. But you still don't have hair, Moby.
Poor Moby. Aw. Okay. So you notice that in there they discuss that you can even have a main idea of a book. So it's not always just one paragraph, but that's why we're building this up into steps. We started off with the main idea of the one paragraph, then we went into main idea of, now we're working on the multi-paragraphs, and eventually you'll be able to sit down and tell us the main idea of an entire book. Okay, here's the story over here on Class Kick that I wanted to look at today. The story is called Wind Power. Okay, and on this story, we're going to check out the bottom question because that's what good test takers do. So let's highlight that question. It says, which sentence from this passage supports the main idea of paragraph 1? Again, kind of a tricky question because they're not asking us to find the main idea of paragraph 1. But we have to find the main idea of paragraph 1 to find out what sentence supports it. What we're doing here is we're looking for a detail to support paragraph 1. So I'm going to get rid of paragraph 2 so that we don't get confused. And let's read paragraph 1. People have used the wind to make their lives easier for a very long time. The Egyptians used it to sail on the Nile River. Others used wind power to crush grain. They used the grain to make bread. American settlers used wind power to help them get water from deep inside the ground. They used the water for their crops and animals. Settlers even used wind power to chop wood. People stopped using wind power when electricity was invented. Wow. Okay, they told us a lot in that paragraph. Let's see. I heard a lot about wind power. That was repeated a lot. So let's check these first couple sentences and see if they give us the main idea. Okay, first sentence there says, people have used the wind to make their lives easier for a very long time. Let's see if the rest of the paragraph tells us about how people use the wind to make their life easier. The Egyptians used it to sail on the Nile. Yeah, that makes it easier. They were able to get places faster by sailing. Others used wind power to crush grain. Well, yeah, then they didn't have to do it by hand. They used the grain to make bread. American settlers used wind power to help them get water from deep inside the ground. Oh, yeah, that helps them. It even has the word help in there. They used the water for their crops and animals. Settlers even used wind power to chop wood. People stopped using wind power when electricity was invented. What do you think? Thumbs up, thumbs down. Do you think that this whole paragraph told us about why wind power was helpful? Yeah, I agree with you guys. The whole paragraph said how they used wind to make their lives easier. Now let's go find some examples, some details that support that. The Egyptians used it to sail. That got them places faster. Others used it to crush grain. That was easier than by hand. American settlers used it to help them get water. Settlers even used it to chop the wood. So all of those things show us how it was easier in their lives when they used wind power. Let's find an answer that matches that choice. A, they used the water for their crops and animals. Does that tell us how the wind power helped them? Not quite. People stopped using wind power when electricity was invented. No, that just says when they stopped using it. Others used wind power to crush grain. Oh, did the wind power help crush grain? Okay, so we'll keep that one. They used the grain to make bread. Well, that's what they used the grain for. That's not what they used the wind for. So C is our best choice here. All right, boys and girls, we're going to do one more together, and then I want to jump on over and explain to you what you need to do after this, okay? All right. Question 7 on here, and it looks like I already went through and I tried to underline the question for you. Let's go ahead and highlight that question. Okay. Here we go. The question says, oops, I wanted to highlight it. There we go. Which sentence from the passage supports the main idea of paragraph 2? So again, we're finding the main idea and then we pick a detail to support it. Let's go in and let's just read that paragraph 2. Other animals live in a very hot place called the desert. There, animals have to know how to keep cool. They also have to live on little water. Animals like the lizard spend the day underground. It comes out during the night when the desert cools off. The lizard can get water through its food. Huh. Was this whole paragraph about lizards? No. What was this paragraph about? Well, let's check the first sentence. If you said look at the first sentence, you're right. Other animals live in a very hot place called the desert. If that's our main idea, the rest of the paragraph should tell me about animals living in the desert. There, animals have to know how to keep cool. Yep, that's important about living in a desert. They also have to know how to live on little water. That's important about living in a desert. Animals like the lizard spend the day underground. That's an animal that lives in the desert. It comes out during the night when the desert cools off. The lizard can get water through its food. So that's how this lizard survives in the desert. All right, let's go through and let's highlight the sentences that support that main idea. We said that animals have to know how to keep cool. That goes with living in the desert. They have to know how to live on little water. That goes with living in the desert. So some will spend the day underground and they come out during the night when it cools off. And lizards can get water through their food. That's how they can survive on little water. Let's pick the detail from our answer choices that best matches. A, they help the polar bear stay warm. Did we read about a polar bear down here? No. See, they were trying to trick us and have you look at paragraph 1. But we were too on it. We looked and saw that the question asked for paragraph 2. B, it is very cold in that part of the world. Does that have to go with paragraph 2? No. C, it comes out during the night when the desert cools off. Oh, look, that's a sentence that we underlined here. We'll keep it. D, one such place is the Arctic. Does that have to do with paragraph 2? Not at all. So our best choice here is, again, choice C. Good job, boys and girls. Okay, after this, I don't have an activity for you on Shobi today, okay? Instead, I have 2 quizzes that I need you to take over on ClassLink inside EdgeElastic. You're going into those EdgeElastic quizzes, okay? I would show you my screen, but my screen looks so different from yours. But it's that thing that we've been taking our quizzes on for a while now, so you should be familiar. And actually, I'll go ahead and I'll pull up the app for you because that's the same. It looks the same. So inside ClassLink. Oh, I'm so sorry, friends. I've been doing it all from my computer, and so I didn't realize that my iPad had signed me out. But this will only just take a second. Don't look at my password. Okay, we're good. Sign me in. Okay, so it is in the second column down. I'm sorry, in the second row down and the 4th column in. It's the white app that has the green and black letters. It says EDULASTIC, EdgeElastic. When you pop on into that, you are going to take 2 different quizzes, okay? One is the quiz, and it might show up for me here inside my homeroom. One is this quiz. It's the connections quiz, okay? And then the other one we're going to have pushed out to you really soon here. I'm doing this a few days in advance. So it'll be pushed out to you, and it's going to have one of those, just like this one has that, has that ribbon, okay? It's going to have that cute orange ribbon too, and it's going to say main idea, okay? So you're going to take the main idea, and you're going to take the connections test, all right? And then later today, my guess is that you'll take the possessive nouns test and the area and arrays test. Okay, so you've got a few of these to get done. Do your very best. We can't wait to see what you guys get on them. I'm sure it's going to be great. All right, guys, see you next week for reference material.